What is going on, guys? Blazing here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you are having a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me on another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, guys, we are going to be discussing one of the best tools in the game, or for this game, I should say. It's not in the game. If it was in the game, Plarium would be head over heels. Best company, best game developer out there. But it is not. Unfortunately, it's a third-party tool, and we are talking about RSL Helper. Now, RSL Helper is one of the biggest things in the community that is provided to us by Farbsoft, and it is 100% free, right? You don't have to pay for it. It's just out there for everybody to use it. So we can't thank Farbsoft enough for providing us with this, right? Because when it comes to CVC, when it comes to champion training, when it comes to basically doing, I want to say almost 90% of the things in this game, RSL Helper just makes things easier for us, right? The only thing that would be better is if RSL Helper and the Hell Hades Optimizer became one. I mean, I'd be happy. One tool for everything implemented in the game. I mean, that's exactly what everybody would love to see. But we are going to break this down into multiple segments of the videos because there's so much to talk about that some of the things you might not want. Some of the other players might want them. So I do want to break it up so you only get what you need, right? So that said, let's get into the nitty-gritty of RSL Helper. All right, so we have RSL Helper pulled up here. Now, I will put in the description below the link for RSL Helper, where to download it. It's in Farbsoft's RSL Helper, and you can feel free to ask any questions in there or on here on the comments down below if you have any, or you can feel free to DM me in Discord. But, we've had multiple versions over the years. This is the newest one, version 4, and man, it has changed from way back in the day to what it is now. Before, we would only be able to basically level champions, right? Now, it can do just about everything for you short of just playing the game, which is something you still have to do. But this is the basic UI, right? You have the champion screen right here, and you have all of the features that it does on the left. So today we're going to break down the UI, and we're going to break down the leveling part of it. So first thing is, it's going to give you the team that you last used, right? Now, one of the things you're going to have to do as soon as you start up RSL Helper is go into campaign and just run any dungeon one time. That's it. It needs to be able to extract the information for the tool to be able to use it, right? So you can see here that it's going to give you a breakdown of everything the champion has for stats wise, what they're wearing. It's going to tell you how many books they have, if they're fully mastered. Now, one of the other nice things about this is if you click onto the champion, right, instead of having to go in game if somebody asks you for the build, you can click on this on the champion portrait, and it's going to give you a breakdown of all the gear that they have equipped, along with the masteries and their stats down here. Now, let's say you wanted to find out what the multipliers are, right? And you don't want to open another window to go look at the Hell Hades Optimizer or look at the Gessel website or wherever you might go, Yumi Love, whatever. You click onto skills, and it tells you exactly what the ability does along with the multiplier, right? You can see here it's got it built in for every single one of them. This takes time. This takes work. So the fact that, Farbsoft's put this out and it's free, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, you can go back to stats, and now you're going to see over here, we have the new area bonuses. So let's say we go into Dragon's Lair. Now my stats changed, right? So if somebody's asking for what my Dragon's Lair, team is, I need to have that clicked, right? So let's go back to the screen here. Now, again, right here, you're going to basically see what it says, average time of how long you've been running it, how many wins, how many losses you have, what the percentage rate is. You're going to see this on a lot of content creators when they, put out a video and prove that it's a 100% run or whatever. The resources used on whichever it is, total resources used is 56 for whatever we just did last. Content areas, faction orcs. So basically we just did a faction wars for the orcs, and that's what it's doing. Super raid mode is what it has. The runtime, how many turns we took, right? And then this is pretty much about it for events, right? Now, what I want to break down into next is the using this to level champions in campaign or in dungeon farming. All right, so if we're looking to just level food and we're going to use it either in campaign or use it in dungeons, it's pretty simple, pretty easy, right? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click into multi-level XP, right? Basically leveling multiple champions. Click on set food, right? And then here it's going to give you a breakdown of exactly everything you have, right? But it's going to give you a breakdown of everything you currently have in your first vault right here, right? Or in your bank. So that's what it's going to do. Now, let's say you are basically stocking all of your champions for trainings or that you want to level up in your reserve vault. So then you click on reserve vault and it adds that into the queue. And then again, if you have them in your main vault, you would click that and then it would bring them all up. Now, over here, you're going to see it's telling you exactly what you have. Now, what it's going to tell you is champions that you have that are not fully leveled. So if you have somebody that's at like level 10, but is a 2-star, or level 13, that's a 3-star, they're still going to populate in this. Now, one of the best features that I like, or one of the best ways I should say that I like picking the champions, is manually going through them and seeing who I want to level, right? Some players do it differently. Now, you could also, if you had just summoned, let's say 200 champions, what you could do is you could click over here where it says use auto select, type in that, that's a bad one. Let's say we'll use this one, use auto select, and we'll do 60 champions, right? And then you want to level 30 of the 4-stars, and then let's say 50 of the 5-stars. Obviously, you wouldn't do it like that. You'd want to make sure that you're doing it in, numbers of 3, right? That way you're, getting better usage. So once you picked what you want here, you can basically click the auto select. And what this is going to do is now, if you scroll down, it's picked all these champions, right, that are 1-star or not 1-star, but level 1 or, somewhere in there where they're not maxed out. And it's going to basically use them for food, right? So it's going to level them. And then you just go all the way down and you're going to see exactly that it's doing it again right here. Now you could do it that way, or you could sit there and you could basically, we'll clear the queue out. And then you could basically go in and manually select everything you want. Now, if you have champions, like if you clicked, let's say 100 of the 3-stars, and let's say 40 of them are, level 13. Let's go ahead and real quick, I'll show you guys. We'll do 150 of the 3-stars. We'll go ahead and we'll auto select. Now you're going to see up here as we scroll up, it's picked every single champion I have. It's picked some champions that are, 5, level 12, right? So you could sit there and you could unclick them all if you wanted to. I don't know of any other way that you could deselect which ones you want, right? So that's how you go about selecting the champions that you want leveled. Now, if you made a mistake and you're not sure, you come up here, you hit clear queue, and it basically clears everything out, right? Now, a nice feature also is calculate food, right? If you click on it, it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do or what it's going to level to be able to get the food best for your account. So then you can click calculate food. It's going to auto select, right? And then you just make sure you auto select what it wants. Select auto. And basically what this is going to do, this is going to say, okay, it's calculated that you have 1-1-star and that you need 1-1-star to be able to level it, right? To get it to level 2. It's going to do the same thing for your 2-stars, 3-stars, and 4-stars. It's going to basically say, okay, we've got 12. We're going to level 4, right, out of the 12, and then we'll be able to use the rest for food. And the same thing, so on and so forth, right? It's going to say 39 of these champions can be leveled, and then everything else can be used as chickens. Now, let's say you don't want to level the champion to max, right? Let's say you want to level them only to use them for chickens. Well, what do you do then? So we'll clear the queue again. We'll clear the auto select. And let's go in and we'll tell it to pick 60 champions. So if you click 60, right, and then use auto select, we'll auto select the champions. Again, I would just say go through it real quick, make sure you're not picking any champions that are not being used. Then what you're going to do is on the right over here, it says use level limit, right? So if you click on that, basically now what it's going to do, and I'll show you guys right now, is it's going to take any champion you put in here, right? Let's just pick 3 random champions right there. All right. Now what it's going to do is it's going to take the 3 random champions and it's going to bring them up to level 12. And then at level 12, it's going to stop and it's going to switch out the champions. We'll go ahead. Now, let's say that we're going to start it, right? if we've already picked out the champions that we want, we hit this little green button right down here where it says play, right? And then it's going to ask you, who is your farmer? Now, you could do it with one farmer, two farmers, three farmers, whatever it is that you have. Just make sure that you click on whoever it is. So this one, we're going to be using one farmer, right? So we click one farmer, and then we run it. It's basically going to level them up to level 12. And then you'll see just a second here that once it gets to level 12, they will switch. This is actually one of the most efficient ways that you want to try to get some food done. You want to give them at least a couple of levels before feeding them into the 3-star, but that's a whole nother subject. While this is, continuing, I want to show you a couple of different things on here. Now you're going to see here that we have these orange ones, right? The orange ones are already selected because those are champions that are sitting in your garrison, right? They're being leveled through your garrison. They're not, you can't really pick them to use them here. Now, the way you're going to know is if the champions that you're currently using are being used, or the champions that are currently in there. You can see it's already swapped them out, right? It brought them to level 12 and it was done. So we'll go ahead and stop that right now, right? Obviously, the little red square stops it, but you can see that's what it did. Now we're down to 57 champions, right? So that's pretty much, I think, for the most part of leveling, right? You can sit here and again, you can pick who you want to have in for food. You can use, you can sift here and you can see if you just have the faction guardians themselves, fusion champions only. If you're working for like the Broadmoor fusion or something like that, you can click fusion champions and it's only going to produce the fusion champions for everything. So that's pretty much about it for this part. You can click the little button over here if you want them in order by rank, right? You can go up, down. It's really up to you. Usually, I just kind of make sure, because I'm not going to level my 6 stars. I'm going to level my 5 stars, or my 2 and 3 stars, I should say. So I click it, make sure that these guys are in here, and that's it. Yeah, that's really much about it, guys, for this part. This is just leveling. I hope that helped. If it did, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know if there's a different feature you want to see next. Again, this thing does so much. So you can basically use it for, when you're farming dungeons. You can do it the same way if you have a solo farmer. If you're farming for, what's it called, minotaurs, you can do the same thing there, right? So it's just phenomenal. It's great. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you to Firebstar for giving us this tool. As always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.